and gentlemen, I'm Mighty Mundane with TrekRadio. I'm here with Riza and Mav, and we are with the executive producers and unit production manager of Unbelievable, Steve Fawcette and Angelique Fawcette. Welcome, guys. We're excited to talk about the project that you guys have working. We wanted to check in with you and see, going forward, what the details of it are, where people can see it.
First, like to say that both my wife and I are we're big TOS fans, and I'm actually old enough to remember the original series when it was first on NBC, and remember I'm right now looking at Nichelle Nichols.
Hi, Nichelle.
And it's just so surreal that I have come full circle on this 50 years later. I was 10 years old when I started watching Star Trek.
I was 2.
Yeah. And it was just it was one of those TV shows that were just way ahead of its time, and it really struck a chord with me, and I ended up watching the episodes over and over and over again, and it became a part of my life, and I think Angelique had the same experience.
Yeah, when I started watching Star Trek, it was in the 1970s, and I was just a little girl. I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, and I thought that was the original Star Trek. I didn't know that those were repeats. So I was just excited every week, Channel 5, oh my gosh, Star Trek's coming on. But, little did I know until, I got older and I found out what it was. But it's wonderful to come around, like my husband said, full circle, because, I would have never known that I would have met Nichelle, and to have the type of friendship and colleagueship that we do have. And I love you for it. Nichelle has been such a great help and support to us in getting this film made. I honestly could not do it without her. And some of you may or may not know, but Nichelle gave me away to Steve in our marriage. So, she definitely will always have a special place in my heart, and very, very grateful. And then also I want to give a shout out to Ed Maurer over there, who's hiding behind the camera, who set this all up, because without him we wouldn't be here today, and I'm very grateful, Ed. And I'm grateful to you guys for having us, because it's fun. We want to share about this. We love our film, and we love Star Trek. So
We fought our way here.
Oh yes, we fought our way here.
Yeah.
3 hours traffic.
The Star Trek lives because of syndication, and it is that fandom that has brought us all to where we are in life.
Yeah.
The lessons behind it and the influences have guided each of us in ways that we can't even fathom.
Right.
It was a lesson in humanity, and it continues teaching humanity.
That's right.
But
It brings us together.
And I do want to say, because I think some people may have not a complete understanding of what Unbelievable is. It is a parody, and we're not making fun of Star Trek. I want to make it very clear that this is a very loving thing. We are Star Trek fans, and probably is about as rabid as most of your audience. But we always thought that it would be fun to see some of these actors in something a little more whimsical, a little bit more comical. And so we had put together this script. I had this script, and I was going to do it originally. This is a small independent film, and it really just kind of ballooned and morphed into something that was way bigger than I originally planned.
Yeah.
The first actor that committed was Michael Dorn, and Michael had read the script, and he committed to it. He says, he says, I like this, I'll do this. And then he said, well, would do you think maybe Marina Sirtis would like to be at. And so it kind of just developed from that, and so it just kind of ballooned out like that.
Yeah, there are a huge amount of Star Trek stars in Unbelievable. In fact, one would even say it's an unbelievable amount of Star Trek stars. Yeah. Being a love letter to classic sci-fi, will we be seeing references to other genres and franchises?
Yes, well, you'll see a somewhat reference to Team America World Police, because basically how the puppet came about, Steve and I were having a hard time figuring out who we could get for the lead role, which was for Captain Stillwood. And in the middle of the night at like 2 in the morning, I was in the bed and he was at his computer at the desk, and he said, well, what if I make, the lead a puppet? And I was like, sure, yeah, whatever, go. And I went back to sleep. And that was it. And then next morning, he had called the Kyoto brothers, who made the puppets for Team America World Police, if you're familiar with them. And then the next day after that, we were the Kyoto brothers, and we were paying for a little puppet that looked like Captain Kirk, that resembled him. And so we're also Team America World Police fans. We're also Thunderbird fans, the old, Thunderbird fans. So there's a little Team America World Police in there too. So yes, to answer your question.
You could say he's incredibly animated.
Yes.
I think it was William Shatner who said that he poured everything he had into the role, and eventually that became part of the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the puppet became the iconic symbol of the film, and every actor that was in this film wanted a scene with the puppet, and so I ended up. They kept saying, well, can I get into this film? Can I do something? And I kept adding scenes to the film, and so basically it became a kind of a mad world of Star Trek, and it was a very interesting situation to watch it morph into something much bigger and grander than I had planned it for it to be. And then, of course, we ended up getting our music made, and
Yes.
that was a story in and of itself.
Yes.
I really wanted Star Trek music,
Star
and
Trek style.
Star Trek,
Yeah.
style music, and
It's very iconic. It's
Well,
certain
yeah, I mean,
things
it's-
that
yeah,
are very unique to
Yes.
Star Trek.
I think
1960s. But yeah.
some of the when people think about TOS, they think about what great music it had, and
Yeah.
Alexander Courage.
Yes.
Sandy Courage
Gerald
and
Fried.
Gerald Fried and Saul Kaplan and Fred Steiner. But all of these gentlemen are deceased except for Gerald Fried. And so I said, well, I'd like to reach out to Gerald and see if he'd like to do the score for the film. And so he's 88 years old now, and I didn't know, if he'd be in the best of shape, but we found him in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and he's a real spitfire. He's got this little Mustang, and he drives around town, driving people off the road.
Yeah, he does. He does.
They say
And-
musicians are like a fine wine. They only get better with age.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he's,
Which is a good thing.
Yes, he's pretty amazing.
So I had said, you're iconic, not only to Star Trek, but to a whole generation of sci-fi fans, and we would love for you to do this score. And he said, hell yes, I want to do your score.
And that was another one of those overnight. He emailed him, and then by the next morning we had an answer that yes, hell yes, he wanted to do this. And then the next day we were driving out there, 12 hours to Santa Fe.
Yeah.
So,
And he now has done 75 minutes of new Star Trek type music that the world is about to hear. And let me tell you, this music is phenomenal. I mean, it is absolutely great.
It is.
And we're just so thrilled to have had him do this for us. And I think you'll all appreciate the film so much more because you know that Gerald Fried did the original score.
Right.
It is that missing piece,
Right.
that icing on top of a
Oh,
really
yeah.
good cake.
Right.
Yep.
And it's it's important to say. I like to say this though, is that when we came into this business, we were unknowns, and in some ways we're still unknowns. We didn't have any connections. The industry didn't know us. So the manner in which we were able to get our actors was through a few people who knew people. And also we went to conventions and we had our script ready to go and said, hi, we're Angelique and Steve, would you like to be in our film? And we were lucky enough that some of our actors said yes. And then our actors came on set and they had our experience. And I will say that we've branded our company and we do pride ourselves on treating people with great respect. And I do mean great respect. We bring people on set, we don't separate crew and talent. We bring them together and we take good care of them. Well, the word got out, and I think more actors came and asked to work with us because of that. By the end, like Steve said, people were asking to be in our film, and we were so grateful. It was like a overflowing, ocean of love. It was really wonderful. And, we never wanted to, we were very careful to not, infringe on Paramount's copyright. Like he said, that this is a loving parody. And we wanted, as creators ourselves, we wanted to make sure that, we don't want to be infringed upon. So we didn't want to infringe upon theirs. So we were just very careful in every single thing we did. We simply parodied, which, parody law protects us. So, we just hope the fans like it, because we really did make it for the fans.
Well, it's also the fact that we really didn't use the IP.
Right.
The intellectual property of Paramount or CBS. So it's there are no Romulans and Klingons and Enterprise and that sort of thing. It's an all new story with over 40 former Star Trek stars in it, and so that's it's not like an Axanar type of scenario where we've just taken something that they own and run with it. I mean, that was not what we wanted to do.
And I will say that I do respect the Axanar filmmakers, because it is really challenging. It's highly rewarding to create a film, to produce a film. So I respect them for that. But I think that, their issues are different from ours. But I will give them the respect for being independent filmmakers. It is not easy. And if you can get it done, you're lucky. So, no bad, energy to them. I hope it all ends up well for everybody.
Speaking of getting it done, what was that moment that brought you guys, that you guys decided to actually undertake this project, get it started, and kind of where it developed in your mind? What was maybe your original vision for it?
Well, my original vision was not even a Star Trek related film. It was just going to be just a regular film, like an Airplane, Naked Gun type comedy, and that was what I was going to do. When Michael Dorn said yes to it, I remember being with my other producers, and I said, okay, we can't be a little bit pregnant here. I mean, we gotta just get as many Star Trek people as we can and just go for it. And it was a very good decision that we made. Yeah, it was just something that I was going to do because I wanted to get my feet wet, get some credibility in the industry. I'm a novelist. I wrote a novel called The Archangel of Dreamland, and this novel won Best Action Adventure Novel of the Year back in 2006. And Warner Brothers actually had called me in and wanted to buy the rights to it. And I wanted to be involved. I wanted to have some creative control, and they said, absolutely not. You're going to take this check and, goodbye to you. And so I said, well, then I can't take your check. And so I decided that maybe what was best is that I go ahead, do a small little film, and then work my way up to something bigger. I didn't realize that this was going to get bigger, and it has, and it's now, I guess we raised about $3 million for it, yeah. All private equity. It's about, about 111 minutes. It'll be PG-13. So it's not a Disney film by any means, but it's not R, and so it's right kind of in that sweet spot. It's we've got, I guess, a couple of things that we could say about what we're going to do as far as a premiere goes. The film is now in final post. We've dropped the music into the timeline, and we're doing a Dolby 7.1 mix. And at that point, we'll be showing it, and we're thinking of doing a sneak peek premiere in Los Angeles for the 50th anniversary. We're going to be doing that the night of September the 7th, Wednesday, September 7th.
And that's tentative.
So, we'll be providing more information about that, and we would like to have some Star Trek fans, if they're in the LA area, if they want to come by, we'll let them take a look at it free of charge, as a kind of a gift for everyone for the 50th anniversary.
All right.
And you guys are invited too. You just come on down from Northern Cal and all that. It'll be fun.
All right, one final question, because we are running out of time.
Okay.
After the premiere is completed, how are you guys planning to distribute it? Where will people be able to get a hold of it, to watch it and enjoy it?
Well, we're in the process of that, so that's, again, we've come from literally the ground up, knowing nobody. So we're in the process of making all of those connections, and so we'll know soon. We'll know soon how that's going to go, but it definitely will be available for people to see theatrically as well as on a CD, and we are also going to have a soundtrack. There's also something I would like to mention that, about Emily Stanton. There's a young singer who actually did a single for us. It's amazing. People like Dave Grusin, who was a part of our orchestra, Tommy Morgan, Gerald Freed, fell in love with her. She wrote her song for our film. It's called After Today, and it's just such a beautiful song. I can't wait to share it. So there's a lot of great things. There's a lot of great things about this.
But the distribution companies have been gathering, and they want to see what we've got, and we didn't want to show it to them until we had the music dropped in, because the music is so incredible, and so it's going to just completely change the whole feel of the film.
Yes.
So we'll probably be inviting a lot of them to the sneak peek. So I would imagine we'll have a deal pretty soon thereafter.
And can I do one more thing? I know you guys
Sure,
are running out of
sure,
time,
yeah.
but I want people can Nichelle and Marion and Ed just come up for a second, because I want to poke their heads in. These are people who helped us. We wouldn't be sitting in front of you right now if these people weren't here, so they can say hi. Yes, Gil, where are you? Gil, come on, Gil.
While they're getting set up, ladies and gentlemen, look forward to Unbelievable, hopefully coming to a theater near you soon-ish.
September 7th.
Well, yes, premiere.
Yes, premiere. So hi. So I just wanted to thank these people. These people, when you make a film, it's not just about who's working with you, day to day and going through the paperwork. It's about people like Nichelle and Marion and Gil, who's not here, but Gil's around, and then Ed, who have helped us emotionally, mentally focus on getting this film done and supporting us. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys. Steve and I both want to say thank you.
I thank you for inviting me, and I think you've got a wonderful idea going here. And knowing both of your talents and what you do and your dedication, I know that it's going to be something wonderful.
Thank you.
And I'm delighted and honored to be a part of it, even in a little bit.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you, Sensei.
And a big thank you to you, Miss Nichols, for coming by and stopping and joining us for this.
It's my real privilege. It's my privilege.
Thank you.
Hey, old buddy.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mighty Mundane with Trek Radio. We'll see you next time.